Braves and Phillies the next two nights. If the Braves win these two, they clinch the NL East. They've got a 15-game lead on the Phillies, but Max Fried versus Zach Wheeler, Spencer Strider going up against Sanchez on Wednesday night. Head-to-head, they went head-to-head last year, too. Phillies knocked off the mighty Braves last year, even though the Braves had a tremendous season chasing down the Mets and won that division. It is interesting. It seems a little different. I mean, there's so much randomness to this, Dan. I always think, well, anything can happen. But the Braves look so monstrous this year. They look next level monstrous.
Yeah, they do.
Well, that means something come playoff time.
Well, it should. But I think we all know October baseball comes. There's luck and there's skill, and sometimes luck has more than skill because it's a short sample size. I think if these two teams match up, it's going to come down to bullpens. And I think if the Braves have one Achilles, it's their back end of their bullpen. I think it goes either way. I mean, honestly, the Phillies have the same issues. But I do think the Phillies are the only team in the National League that can score with the Braves. I'm not saying they have as good offense, but it's not far.
Oh, the Phillies can score off the Braves or any team. The Iglesias issue is really interesting, Dan, because his splits from the stretch and with nobody on are so different. When he's got men on base, opponents hitting .328 and slugging, and OPS is almost 900, and he hasn't had a clean inning in 3 weeks. So that tells you there's some wear and tear on that guy.
God, Jason, he comes up with the greatest things. I could have studied that all day and never came up with that.
The Phillies have shown themselves again this year, too. It's like when you're watching Kyle Schwarber leading off with home runs and Harper is now healthy and getting after it. I mean, they're a spunky club. Like whatever. We've talked about the malaise clubs in the National League. There's no malaise with these guys. There's a lot of fight in them, and they are that type of team that can jump up and beat a better club.
Yeah, I agree. And they've got great playoff experience now. They're hardened in October. They had a great run last year. I think this team is built for October. So, I mean, to me, it'd be a fascinating series. Right now, they would connect. If they end up winning their first round division series, they would play.
Just like last year.
Just like last year. And, Braves pitching's a little healthier, knock on wood, now than it was a year ago. I think the Phillies have to get Nola straightened out, honestly, BK. Right now, I'm not even sure he'd get a start in the first 3 games. He has struggled so much for them down the stretch. But again, there's some baseball left to play, and injuries can even change the discussion we're having right now.
Yeah, no question. When you look at the historic season for the Braves, part of that, of course, is Ronald Acuna Jr. And there's been a lot of talk about his defensive metrics this year. Like, how could they be that bad? Well, this kind of illustrates it. Like, he lost the ball in the sun, but the arm plays, right? The glove, I don't know. The arm, the fact that he threw it on a fly, flat-footed, is impressive. Yeah, he got his man.
Yeah, he's a freak. But I will say, fundamentally in right field this year, he hasn't been good. The rest of his game is so sound fundamentally. That part of his game, his reads and routes at times are are a little bit confusing.
It shows up here. Look, outs above average. That's the StatCast defensive metric. He's -8. 0 is league average, so -8, not good. Arm value, though, that's a +4 on its own, which is very, very high.
Look, he has the skill set to be great out there. I'm not sure if he has the day-to-day, inning-to-inning focus to be a great defender.
Or put in the work prior to the day-to-day inning focus to be able. I mean, every great defender has to put in work. You got to take balls off the bat. You've got to get out there and work on your routes during batting practice or prior to the game. There's no reason for Ronald's defensive numbers to be what they are. He's got too much talent for him not to be an elite defender. Actually, he's making his MVP case closer than it should be because he's going to get dinged so much on his defense. That alone should tell him, hey, man, I got to get out and work on my defense right now because I should be winning this thing in a boat race, and Mookie is making up so much ground because of the defensive metrics.
Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman have made that close. I
don't mean to disrespect Freddie either.
Yeah, no, I haven't touched it yet because, let's wait till everything's in. I think it's that close.